Hey, today we're going to go beyond sample chopping using granular synthesis. First, we'll go over the sound design, and second, we'll go over how to arrange these sounds we're creating in a way that's not just totally messy and like ridiculous. So hope you stick around, hope you enjoy. So here we have a sample and a beat. That's cool and all, like you could just have the sample playing over the beat. Or you could do like some chops, you know, like... So that sounds super cool. There's nothing wrong with it. But what if you want to kind of take it in a little bit more of a modern, kind of crazy, trippy direction? That's kind of what I gravitate towards. So first thing we can do here is open up Granulator, which is a Max for Live plugin. If you don't have Max for Live or you don't have Granulator, skip to here and I'll show you how to do this technique with stock Ableton plugins. So first thing we want to do is grab our sample and drag it into Granulator. And then we want to open up a MIDI clip and just play a C3 for the entire length of the beat. What that's going to sound like is this. So if you click on your sample, it'll move where it's grabbing the samples from, the grains from, if you will. So you kind of get the idea. It's just playing small little snippets over and over again in a random way. I'm not going to go too in-depth on what granular synthesis is. There's plenty of other videos on that. A lot of times with granular synthesis, what someone's going to do is just like, you know, just have completely random stuff going on. So like it's cool to have a random sound or whatever, just like picking from everywhere. We'll actually do that with the stock Ableton plugins. But with Granulator, we have an opportunity to be a little bit more strategic about when we're picking what parts of the sample because we can do this clicking thing. So first thing we want to make sure is that the computer MIDI keyboard is off. We want to make sure we have our MIDI clip. We're going to go ahead and arm it for recording. We're going to turn on automation. We're going to turn on MIDI arrangement overdub, and then we're going to turn on automation arm. So then when we hit F9 to record, or we just hit the record button, any change we do in here by clicking on the sample, we'll change this file position and we'll record the file position. So we can like click where we want our sample to be and like kind of custom granulate our sample, which is like super sick. So let's go ahead and try it. And, you know, you'll have to be choosy about what you do, but like kind of cool. So what if you don't have Granulator, you don't have Max for Live? How are you going to create this sound with stock Ableton plugins? Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, let's go ahead and grab a sampler, drag in our sample. And then first thing we want to do is make sure it's trimmed up all nice. And then let's turn down the length to something like 1%. Let's go ahead and hit loop. And let's just play a note. Okay, cool. Well, now we need to randomize where it's playing from, so let's bring in an LFO. And because we want it to be random, let's change it from sine to random. And let's map it to the start point. One cool thing you can do is turn up this fade, and it will give you that like spinning plates Radiohead type feel. I'm going to leave it at like 10% so it feels more choppy, but we don't get those clicks. So now if we hear this in context of our B section, it's going to sound something like this. Okay, so like I was bobbing my head to that, but honestly, it's too busy. So what can we do about that? What can we do about the fact that this is too nuts? It's too nuts. All right. Well, first thing I would do is think about just having this play only on the one. So say we bring in an auto filter, right click and show automation. And what I'm going to do is just animate this frequency down at the beginning of every first beat. So that's a little too fast. So let's just, too slow. All right, so let's just copy that over a few times. And what's cool is there is the predictability of, on the one it's going to happen, but there's the randomness of what's it going to sound like. All right, now let's just apply like some triplet dub delay. And this delay I really like, but the noise is just too much to have in the mix. So I'm going to turn that off. Now, I think we're doing it a little bit too often, so let's just go ahead and like do every other one or something like that. And then we'll kind of get this. So you're getting a little bit of random like ear candy every once in a while. Now, let's get even crazier with it. Instead of just having it come in on the one every once in a while, we're also going to do a riser every once in a while too. So let's just go ahead and duplicate this whole thing. So let's right click and delete all of our automation. And we'll turn off the old one for a bit just while we're working on that. And we want to do a little riser. So let's automate our new one, and then let's build up into the one. Yeah, that is sick. All right. So let's check this out. So now let's hear them together. And I might go back to the first one we made and just bring it up an octave so it feels more like a glittery hit. All right, now why does this riser one feel so good? Let's talk about it. So this one's like, it's whatever. It's like not very musical, but whatever, we'll work with it. The reason this feels so good is because it's rising up and then you get that bass note. So this one's actually competing with the bass. It's sick because it's rising up into something you want to emphasize. And honestly, with a beat like the glitchy stuff, it's not as important. It's just ear candy. So let the ear candy lead up into a big moment like the bass hitting. Kerblam. Pro tip. Like, I feel like a freaking idiot saying this, but it really does help. Y'all on YouTube have been super supportive. YouTube has been super supportive. Algorithm bless. And I just want to encourage y'all to keep engaging with my content and say thanks.